going on? 44 the Legendary, back with another video or live stream. Well, okay, it's the morning after. I got work today, so just thought I'd give a little recap of the game yesterday as I'm going to work. Gives me something to do. So the Saints lose to Washington 20-19 in a game where, I mean, in the first half, number one, I was just absolutely bored beyond repair. Like, I was completely emotionally detached in the first half. There was absolutely nothing. It just felt like it felt like a preseason game. It felt worse than that, really. That was a very boring first half. This was on pace for one of the worst games of the NFL season in that first half. Like, the Saints did not even look like an NFL team in the first half. Especially the offense. Did not look like an NFL team in the first half. I mean, that was just pathetic. That was pathetic. So many miscues in the first half that, I mean, I didn't think were going to make such a big difference at the end, but ultimately made a monumental difference. Number one, you got Peyton Turner, the Mr. Inconsistent Peyton Turner. We forced Washington to kick a field goal. They made the field goal. Okay, 3-0. You know, you're only down 3. Wait, no. Peyton Turner hits the center in the head, gives him a first down. It's 2nd and goal from the 16. And, I mean, I'll get to the defense in a second. But you allow Terry McLaurin to somehow, in a mash of bodies, catch a touchdown on 2nd and 16 from the 16 on 2nd and goal. And, I mean, that just kind of summed up that drive right in a nutshell. I mean, you hold them to a field goal, and then you get in the position, even after you get the penalty, to hold them to another field goal, and whatever. So, yeah, 7-0. Then Haener, who loves to take sacks. I mean, it just seemed like every time he dropped back, he just fell on his ass. Like, it's like he just slipped and just fell down. I mean, I don't know what was up with that guy yesterday. I mean, he looked about as bad as Ian Book did against Miami a couple years ago on Monday Night Football. He looked about that bad. So, yeah, Jake Haener just took too many sacks. I'm not going to say everything was all his fault. In the first half, you had Marquez Valdez-Scantling dropping a pass. The offensive line, for some reason, didn't want to block for him. But at the same time, he made some ill-advised decisions, like that interception that led to another Washington touchdown. I mean, I don't know what you were trying to do, who you were trying to throw that ball to. A small Kamara. A little small Kamara who was double covered, it looked like, and you were trying to fit that into him. Like, you thought that was actually going to work? Might as well take another sack, dude. You were taking him the whole game. Well, Jerry, I don't quite blame you for picking the Saints, because I did say the Saints, I mean, with all these games that the Saints have had to play over the last few years with, like, an injury-rattled team, and, you know, they've been looking like crap in all these games. I mean, you can go back to the Chargers game earlier this year. You can go back to the Denver game, where the game was just absolutely non-competitive, absolutely boring, nothing going your way. I mean, the Ravens game a few years ago, that terrible football game, the Dolphins game back in 2021, same with the Buffalo game. All these games that the Saints have had to play with all these injuries over the last few years, you felt like they were due to break through at some point and surprise people. And it looked like, I mean, as the game ended up, the way it ended, I mean, dude, it looked like this would have been the game. This was the game to do that. First half was pathetic. Absolutely awful, horrendous, garbage, terrible, everything in the book. I was absolutely detached at halftime. I felt like this was a game that looked like it should have been blacked out. Like, it was so bad. I felt bad for anybody who was not a fan of either of these teams that had to watch that. That was pathetic. So yeah, that was the first half. Little did I know that the small things in that first half would end up costing us in the second half. Second half comes around, Washington goes right down the field. Oh, another thing I didn't mention from the first half. Even after we had that the penalty go against us, Peyton Turner, for hitting the center in the helmet, Washington gets on first and goal, Washington runs the ball with Jaden Daniels. And Jaden Daniels, who, I thought he was down, but they kept the play rolling, and he fumbled. They called that a fumble, and our guy could not grab the ball for some reason. Nobody on the defense could grab the football. For some reason, you had like 2 or 3 guys right there. I think Tyrann Mathieu was right there. Nobody could grab the football. And Josh McNichols, or whatever that running back's name is, jumps on top of it, and that, kept their drive alive. So you could have ended that drive right there and got a turnover, but you missed an opportunity to grab the fumble. So yet again, another first half ill-advised opportunity missed. So anyway, on to the second half. Washington goes right down the field. Looks like they're about to score. Takes up half the quarter. Gets a field goal. Defense holds them. And then all of a sudden, Spencer Rattler comes in. First couple of plays didn't go so well, but then he starts throwing dots. Gets us down the field. Clint Kubiak calls an excellent play call. I think it was Cedric Wilson. The little trick play, flea flicker trick play, throws a touchdown to Kamara. All of a sudden, you felt like, okay, this is... I didn't think we were going to win. I still didn't think we were going to win. But I felt like it was going to be a close game. It was going to be a close game. It was going to come down to the wire. That's how I felt. So, we make it a 10-point game. They go down the field. They get a field goal, which, that was a series of interesting decisions right there, not only from the officials, but from the Saints. I thought they should have challenged that play where the Washington Washington receiver caught the ball, but it looked like it could have hit the ground. I thought we should have challenged that, because if we would have won that challenge, it would have been like a 53-yard field goal instead of a 41-yard field goal. Instead, we don't challenge it. And as the quarter expires, the officials, I guess, lose track. And Washington kicks a field goal and misses it. They thought it was no good. Then the officials come back and say, oh, no. The quarter ended. We're going to re-kick it. Thanks. I guess I can't get too mad at that, because technically that was the right thing to do. But also, it's the officials against the Saints. What do you expect? So they get a field goal, whatever, 20-7 at that point. And in addition, you're looking at a situation where, maybe if we would have challenged it, if we would have had challenged that play, ball maybe would have hit the ground. I couldn't really see a good clip of that. I don't even know if we would have won that challenge. Anyway, we get the ball, go down the field, kick a field goal. At that point, it was like, whatever. I'm not really expecting to win. I thought we needed a touchdown there. I didn't think we could get a field goal. I thought we needed a touchdown. We get a field goal, make it 20-10, so you're not really doing yourself any favors. We get the ball back, get down there, kick another field goal, and all of a sudden it's a one-score game, 20-13. So then you're thinking, okay, I already had in my mind at that point, whenever we made it 20-13, I said to myself, if we make a stop here and go down and get a touchdown, this is it. Like, you run that clock down, you score a touchdown as low time as you can, and you go for two. You go for two. I already premeditated that in my mind. Like, with like 7 minutes to go, I said it like, dude, you get that ball back, you score a touchdown, you going for two. No overtime, none of that. And listen, I'll get to that in a second. Washington goes down the field, they're in field goal range, and they shoot themselves in the foot and take themselves out of field goal range. And eventually they kick a 54-yarder and miss it wide right, and all of a sudden you got a short field. There's that situation we talked about, you know. You go down, you get a touchdown with as little time remaining as possible, go for two. Go for two. Don't go to overtime. Don't go to overtime, because here's the thing. A lot of people are going to argue with you and say, well, we should have kicked the extra point and went to overtime. But here's the thing. I thought the defense played exceptional throughout the game, especially in the second half. I thought they played exceptional. But here's the issue. If you watched very closely, Washington was moving the ball, okay? And on that possession where they missed that field goal to give us a short field to go down and potentially win the game, Terry McLaurin had like two opportunities to seal the game with a long reception. He had one that went off his fingertips. That was a sure touchdown. A sure touchdown. That would have been it. 27-13, that would have been it. But then there was also another play where Jaden Daniels threw deep, and it was incomplete as well for McLaurin. So, I mean, Washington was having their way with our defense. Do not get confused, okay? Don't get twisted with this, okay? The Saints defense played okay. They didn't play great, okay? They didn't play great. Washington was able to... I felt like Washington could have done whatever they wanted on us if they really wanted to. And for the most part, they did. I mean, even though they scored 20 points, that was ill-advised things that costed them points. I don't think it was really much of the Saints' defense. I thought the Saints... I felt like the Saints' defense all day long had a difficult time getting Jaden Daniels on the ground, even though we had 8 sacks. And I know that, you know, you're going to be like, 44, why do you think that? We sacked him 8 times. Dude, did you see how many times he ran? He was literally running from guy to guy in the pocket, bumping off of offensive linemen, and still got out of it? Because our defensive line is so slow, fat and slow. Like, dude, it was like driving me insane, bro. Like, bro, are you kidding me? Carl Granderson almost had a sack on one play. Should have had a sack. Jaden Daniels gets out of it, runs for a first down. Like, I feel like a lot of these sacks that we got yesterday weren't necessarily the defense getting them. It was more Jaden Daniels just, like, trying to extend plays and all of a sudden just giving up when he realized the plays weren't there. I mean, I don't think it was really much of the defense causing the sacks. I think it was just Jaden Daniels and his style of play, dude. Saints defense, I mean, if you really watch that game, Saints defense had a very difficult time getting that man on the ground. So, I don't think that going for 2 was the wrong decision. Oh, we could have won it in overtime. I mean, you don't know that. Whenever you go to overtime, that typically favors the favorite, the better team. And if Washington gets that ball first, I think they're going down and scoring. Personally, I think they're going right down the field and scoring. I don't think the Saints are touching the ball. And if the Saints get the ball first, I mean, you got a young offense. How do you know they're going to go down and close the deal and finish the game off? I mean, you don't know that. You don't know that. I mean, who knows if this young team folds under pressure, or this young, you know, Spencer Rattler folds under pressure. You don't. I mean, I thought going for 2 was the right decision. Okay, that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. That's my story. I'm sticking to it, whatever. So Spencer Rattler does an excellent job conducting a drive down the field, mixed with some runs, which I liked because Washington was not anticipating running. So I really liked the play calling throughout the drive. We score the touchdown. Oh my goodness, we got a chance to tie the game, win the game here. I don't disagree with going for 2, okay? I do not disagree with going for 2. How many times I gotta say it? I do not disagree with going for 2. What I disagree with was that horrible, pathetic play call. You literally just ran that play and you scored a touchdown to Foster Moreau with that same play. Why are you doing it 2 times in a row? Why? Why, dude? Why? Why? Clint, buddy, bucko, homie. Why were you running that play 2 times in a row? Why? For what reason, dude? Made no sense, man. Made no sense at all. That was a pathetic play call. Let's run all of our receivers to the right, to the same direction. And let's just throw it at the last second. That was the plan? That was your genius plan in that playbook of plays that you got. That was what you had drawn up, Clint. Jerry, I agree, dude. I agree. Run the football, dude. I would have preferred that than roll out to the right, throw it to nobody. Essentially, threw it to nobody. Jawan Johnson wasn't even in the end zone. He was like out of bounds, damn near. He wasn't gonna, even if he caught it, it wasn't gonna be good. Snakebite, I saw highlights of that. I couldn't really see. They didn't show that on TV, like, if you know what I mean, Snakebite. They didn't show that on TV. I think I saw Marquez Valdez-Scantling in the back all alone. So I think I know what you're talking about, but on TV that wasn't even, like, it wasn't even visible. Wasn't even visible on the TV. Well, Jerry, at this point, dude, I guess it really, I mean, now you might as well, because you can't go to the playoffs. I mean, you would need to not only win out, you'd need Tampa Bay to lose out, and you'd need the Falcons to lose 3 out of their last 4 games. I think one of those things is highly possible. I think Atlanta can lose 3 out of the last 4. Tampa Bay is not going to lose out. I think at worst, Tampa will lose 1 more game, and I think that game would come next Sunday at Dallas. That's the game that I think Tampa would lose. I don't think they're not losing to Carolina at home, and I don't think, especially in a win or go home game, Tampa Bay is not going to lose to us. We're not going to beat Tampa Bay. And at that point, I mean, who do you prefer to go to the playoffs? Do you prefer to go? Do you prefer to? Do you prefer Tampa to go to the playoffs by losing to them, or do you prefer Atlanta to go by beating them? I mean, which one do you? I mean, you can't really win there. I mean, personally, I would say just based off of Tampa beating us in the playoffs a couple of years ago and ending our season and Drew Brees' career, just on a personal level, I would say beat Tampa. Put them in their misery, in their season. That's what I would want, personally. Because I don't think Atlanta would do anything in the play. I think they get bounced in the first round. I don't care who they play. Minnesota, Green Bay, anybody. They'd lose in the first round. Atlanta's not winning a playoff game. Come on. They're not going to win a playoff game. I would prefer to put the Buccaneers and end their season and get revenge from a few years ago and at least say, hey, we eliminated you. We eliminated you. Just like you eliminated us a few years ago, we eliminated you. So I guess that would be the one thing I'd be looking forward to. That's the one thing I would look forward to. So that's my thought process. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Bucks, I agree, dude. I think y'all are very dangerous, man. A lot of people aren't looking at Tampa Bay right now, but, I mean, they beat the 2 best teams in the NFC. In fact, they're the only team to beat the 2 best teams in the NFC. Nobody else has beaten both Philadelphia and Detroit. So, yeah, I agree. I think the Buccaneers are a dangerous team, dude. That's what I'm saying, Snakebite. I would think I would want Atlanta. I think y'all are dangerous. No, the Saints can't make the playoffs. I don't know if you're talking about this year or next year. Next year, I think it's clear-cut what should be the case. I think you need to start Spencer Rattler. I don't think there's any ifs, ands, or buts about that. I think you got to start Spencer next year. That's your guy for the next year. You got to see what he can do in a full year. That's my opinion. Yeah, Bucks, y'all put 40 points on them too. Y'all didn't just beat them. Y'all put up 40 points on them. Oh yeah, Bucks. By the way, yeah, I'm surprised y'all beat them too. I thought y'all were due for a loss and y'all were gonna lose to them, which is why I had a 14-leg parlay. Get this, guys. I had a 14-leg parlay. I had, like, all the noon games. I got them all right. Got all the 325 games right, except for the Bucks and Chargers. I even threw in, I had the Pacers beating the Pelicans because I knew the Pelicans weren't going to win. And I had the Celtics beating the Wizards. I had 14 legs, man. 14 legs. Got them all right, except for the Bucks Chargers, man. I was so pissed. I put $1 on it. $1. You know what the payout would have been? $255 off of $1 freaking dollar, dude. And because Buck Skull Gang had to ruin my freaking Christmas money, Buck Skull Gang's team, I guess, didn't want me to have Christmas money. I should have put my money on the Bucks. I probably could have won way more. Probably could have won like 400 if I had. I had a feeling Tampa was going to win that game, dude. I knew Tampa was capable of winning that game, man. Yeah, man. Jerry, I was pretty sad, dude. I'm not going to lie. 14 legs, all of them hit, except for that Bucks Chargers game. And I was worried about the Denver game not hitting because the Denver was down 10-0 for most of that game. And the Bucks were down like 17-10 at one point. All of a sudden, they just scored 30 straight points. Bucks, I was close to picking y'all. I wanted to pick y'all. I had a feeling y'all were going to win, too. I mean, I don't know why I didn't pick you. I had a feeling you were going to win, but I picked the Chargers, man. Every other thing hit. Pelicans lost. That was actually the one game that I was like, I hope the Pelicans get fucking blown out. So I haven't cursed in a while. I'm sorry. I hope the Pelicans get blown out. I knew the Celtics were going to beat the Wizards. I had the Washington winning. I had the Jets winning. I had Dallas beating Carolina. I had all the 12 o'clock games and all the 3 o'clock games correct in the 2 NBA games that I put in there, except the Bucks Chargers. Man, I was so heated. I was heated, man. Yeah, I might put something down for next week too. I got to take a look at the the options. But man, I could have had a few Christmas gifts for somebody with that money, dude. My brother, his girlfriend, something, my mom. Could have had a few Christmas gifts with that money. But no. Buck Skull Gang wanted to ruin my Christmas, I guess. But anyway, guys, I get it. It is what it is. The Saints lost. I mean, you could look at the first half. They had a bunch of stupid plays in the first half that ended up costing them. But at the end of the game, that stupid play call of Clint Kubiak was just, I mean, I don't know what he was doing. What were you thinking, man? I know you got more trick plays in that freaking playbook, dude. Come on, man. Really? Really? Roll out to the right and throw it into a compressed area of receivers. That was your play call. Jawan Johnson hadn't done nothing the entire game. Jeez, man. Whatever, Clint. That's another reason why I'm still skeptical about you, dude. Because when the game actually mattered, that's what you call. Anyway. Saints lose. Their season, for all intended purposes, is over unless Tampa Bay loses the last 3. The Saints win the last 3, and Atlanta loses 3 out of 4. But anyway. Real best boy. Washington versus the refs. I thought the refs were very iffy on both sides. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I thought that field goal that y'all kicked, I thought that was a BS thing that they messed up on. But, I mean, I guess I see where you're coming from, real best boy. I could definitely vouch that I thought that the refs did bail us out at times. I'm not even going to lie. Like, that holding play that y'all had when y'all were in field goal range with a chance to make it a 10-point game at the end. I know you ended up kicking one anyway, but I thought that, I don't